Gee willikers, with Season 4 approaching faster than the apocalypse, I think it would be appropriate to finally do a Browsing Deviantart on My Hero Academia, one of the only 3 anime series I've ever watched a decent amount of. I just tend to avoid anime a lot, I don't know why. Okay, on to the video, I guess. So it should be said that My Hero Academia is quite possibly the perfect storm for fan characters. Take a world where each and every character has some unique power and design, and then supercharge that with teenagers, and you've got yourself the ultimate fan character machine. And so you'll get many drawings like this. Here we have a character with an animal-related quirk. I don't have much to say about this, except that the pectoral over here is a bit flat, and I think the blue mohawk is a bit silly. Unless that's what they're going for. What I like most about this design is that every element seems to have a purpose. Like all the animalistic features make sense for movement, and the skin suit makes sense for agility, the mohawk just seems like an unnecessary addition. However, if that's their way of adding a bit of personality, then fair enough. If they wanted to keep the crazy hair, they could make the hair allude to some animal trait. Like if you look at some of the characters in the show, their hair usually suggests what their power is. Like Bakugo's is clearly an explosion, and that electric guy has that lightning bolt on the side. I would encourage them to find something like that, unless there's some animal-related aspect to the mohawk that I'm just completely missing. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but the body seems more elongated than the average male build, which I think adds a subtle hint to how the animal design affects more than just the limbs, and potentially distorts the body to fit the quirk. As for the craft, the line work seems to be quite jagged. You can tell especially around the forearm where the lines are broken up and don't look like one smooth stroke. That's one of the major things I would work on for the final drawing. And now, onto the bio. Whoops, I'm guilty of making a My Hero Academia OC. His name is Shiro Kodama, I guess, and his quirk is shapeshifting. He can shift into animals or shift certain body parts to that of another animal, and can even use animals' abilities without morphing, such as changing his skin pigmentation or having a stronger sense of smell or sight. His costume is made to morph with his body's shape. Don't ask me how, cause I'm not completely sure myself, lol. Well, if I were the artist, I would probably research a bit into how such a technology could be theoretically possible. I'm not asking for a working prototype or anything, but that's where the fun of writing comes in. You could give a few sentences to how the fibers work or something, and you wouldn't need much more than that. I think it would be beneficial to ground the character a bit, which helps with our suspension of disbelief. He's a precious being who's into rock and metal. When I first read this, I thought they were talking about literal rock and metal. I guess a part of me thought animal mind equals fondness for minerals. But then I realized those are also genres of music, so I mean it still could be. And due to his quirk, he has extensive knowledge of animals and continues to study them. Overall, this is a fairly well-designed character with a few drawing issues. While we're appreciating this fan art of Stain, who is the infamous hero killer of the series, I just want to tell you a dumb story about this dude's name. So, while I was trying to summarize My Hero Academia to my younger brother, I completely forgot the name of this dude halfway through, and so my brain for some reason decided that the best substitute was the word streak, which is a pretty similar word to stain, I suppose. And well, now I can only think about how Streak sounds like Stain's mentally challenged brother or something. So like, why does this dude look so much like Moby from Tim and Moby? Someone make that edit. You know the one with the...
Look at this dude.
And the...
Look at his lips.
That would get some haha funnies and epic laughs from me. Hey Izuku, how do you keep that twinkle in your eyes? Oh, tears. Okay, yeah, that one's getting a favorite from me. He cries so much. This drawing of Midoriya is in a style I can only describe as Dr. Seuss and old-fashioned rubber hose. And if we go to their profile page, yep. The artist notes this is the first anime character they've ever drawn, and I don't think I've seen anything like this attempted before. I've seen characters Seussified, if you will, but not anime characters, probably because the styles are so different, but I think they did a pretty good job at making the character recognizable. Why is there always a perfect 90-degree angled chin? This is like such a common problem. If I get a picture from the show in roughly the same position, you'll see there's this smooth transition. Yeah, the angle I suppose is just a little bit more than 90 degrees, but it isn't a quick turn of the corner. There's this fullness to the cheeks that you just can't get from two intersecting lines. You just gotta experiment with smoothing that out in a stylized way. Of course, before any of that, for this artist I would start with practicing basic 3D forms. I also really love how unsubtle their characters are. Like Deku's sweater has a heart, and Bakugo's is just death. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what it's like in the show. Oh boy, there they are, the coalition of evilers. You know what I always found strange? Is that they would call themselves the League of Villains. Isn't that the equivalent of making a political party called the Really Bad Dudes or something? Unless that's the name that was bestowed upon them by society, or I'm just completely remembering wrong. It looks like we have some Jamie Hewlett influence maybe. I always have a hard time critiquing things like this, mostly because of how clean it is. And also because there's a lot of stylistic decisions I don't think I can really analyze properly. Like, this chair looks abnormally tall, but this dude's legs are also really long, so I don't know, you know? It's an overall neatly drawn villain group. I know this dude is a fan favorite, and while we have this image up, I always wondered if that stuff on his face was like the lower layer of his skin. I don't think they ever made that clear in the show, so I always assumed that there was just vast areas of his body that had less protection from the environment, so all I could think of is how much dirt and sand and crap would get in there and just irritate the hell out of him. I went to the wiki of My Hero Academia because I kinda forgot about this character, and I realized that spreading Stain's ideology is listed as a hobby. And then I went to other villains and saw the hobby section, and you have things like killing people and killing and devouring children. Like, I guess the definition is technically correct, but man, it just sounds so inappropriate. Ah yes, I kill and devour children in my spare time, but mostly I go to work at the office. I would like to highlight this work mostly because of the color scheme. You've got all these green highlights, which kind of takes Deku's most recognizable feature and spreads it out to his clothes and even the shadows. Then all the skin and other parts of the clothes is this almost cream color, which gives tons of contrast to the dark navy blue. All of this laid on this flat orange background. It's one of those things where if you look at it briefly, you think there's only like 3 hues being used, but it's actually more complicated than you realize. The only thing I think is weird is that the pose looks a bit stiff. It looks like he's trying to carry something in this hand while running. I thought he was trying to bring a cup of coffee to All Might or something from the thumbnail. It's certainly not a big deal, it's really not that obvious, and I might be getting this impression because of the baggy clothes, but I thought it was worth pointing out. Anyway, my name is Solar Sands, and goodbye.